I know we are running a little bit behind, but surely I believe we will make it on time. I'm aware of commitments and people traveling also for quite long distances. Thank you all for coming again. And in this session, let me mention this. It's going to be bits of a couple of things. Our two presentations which are yet to come, and then our researcher had put together something about the the Hinduism, because we believe that is a very grand, let me say, and also had its roots in all these traditions. So that is not actually to say he's going to talk on their behalf, but just to entertain us with a couple of wisdoms from their traditions. So 3 presentations, and then we are going to sign. We have the time for panel discussion, and the panel discussion, as I mentioned, is going to be clarifications and getting like more, even if someone wants to elaborate with one of the presenters on one of the concepts, they may feel to do that if we have the time. However, in the end, we are going to sign this short declaration. I have passed that to all our honorable speakers, and they are more than happy to do that today, to actually signify, like, and give this meeting a legacy to continue. Because my age now is over 60. I have been to so many conferences all over the world. And believe me, I'm not going to say, like, this is not like a good conference, but conferences that cost actually so much. However, with all those wonders of human experience, they will be just lost. People will have no legacy actually to be there for our children and the future generations. So I'm very proud that what I have here today, I've never seen something like this before. I'm not actually boosting myself, because I have no any presentation with you guys. It is you who did it. So let us continue and have now our Muslim perspectives on the one humanity, morality, and home. And this is, as we mentioned earlier, it was all under the guidance of our sheikh here, and also Bilal used to like put together some of the ideas. And I'm going to leave it for Brother Bilal. We call him Bilal. I'm just now relaxing because the food was delicious. I have to say, Mr. Muhammad Bilal Ali. You are welcome.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. Bismillah, all praise is due to God, and peace and blessings be upon the final messenger and all of the prophets and messengers that came before him. I'm honored to participate in this conference today and to address you on the subject of our shared values from an Islamic perspective. I'm aware we just had lunch, so I know that many of you will be sleepy at the moment. So feel free to sleep throughout the presentation if you feel you want to. But I hope that you indulge me for a little bit longer. A slight caveat before we begin. The presentation today is actually beyond the established boundaries of different Muslim sects. Our differences in theological fine points, our differences in schools of jurisprudence, as well as our differences, let's say, in political activism as well. So the presentation, in fact, is drawn from the overwhelming foundational message of Islam, in which God says in the Quran, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا كَافَةً لِلنَّاسِ بَشِيرًا وَنَذِيرًا, that we have not sent you, O Prophet Muhammad, except as a bearer of glad tidings and a warner to all of mankind. And also it says in the 21st chapter of the Quran, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ, that we have not sent you, O Prophet Muhammad, except as a mercy to the entire universe. So I hope this presentation, in fact, illustrates our shared values from within this message of compassion and mercy, and that it fulfills the honorable and noble title of today's conference. Bismillah. The oneness of humanity, in fact, is illustrated in our qualities. So the question becomes, what are these qualities that we share? Firstly, number one, our origin is one. We all share a common ancestor and one initial family. God says in the Quran, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ اتَّقُوا رَبَّكُمُ الَّذِي خَلَقَكُم مِّن نَّفْسٍ وَاحِدَةٍ وَخَلَقَ مِنْهَا زَوْجَهَا وَبَثَّ مِنْهُمَا رِجَالًا كَثِيرًا وَنِسَاءً. Which means, O humanity, be mindful of your Lord, who created you out of a single living entity, and out of it created its equal, and out of the two spread multitude of men and women. Hence, there is no room for otherness, really, in the family of humanity. In fact, one of the purposes of creation is to get to know one another. God says in the Quran, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَىٰ وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِندَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. Which means, humanity, we have created you all from one man and one woman, and made you into nations and tribes so that you may come to know one another. To God, the most honored of you are those who are most mindful of Him when interacting with creation. So that's the first oneness. The second oneness is that our worth is one. So in fact, the life of a single human being in God's estimation equals the lives of all human beings. مَنْ قَتَلَ نَفْسًا بِغَيْرِ نَفْسٍ أَوْ فَسَادٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ فَكَأَنَّمَا قَتَلَ النَّاسَ جَمِيعًا وَمَنْ أَحْيَاهَا فَكَأَنَّمَا أَحْيَا النَّاسَ جَمِيعًا. We have ordained for the children of Israel that if anyone kills a person, unless in retribution for murder or for spreading corruption in the land, it is as if he kills all humankind. And if anyone saves the life of a single person, it is as if he saves the life of all humankind. God honors the human being regardless of their faith in the Quran. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ وحملناهم في البر والبحر ورزقناهم من الطيبات وفضلناهم على كثير ممن خلقنا تفضيلا. Indeed, we have honored the children of Adam. The children of Adam, not just simply the followers of the Prophet or the Muslims. Indeed, we have honored the children of Adam and carried them over land and sea and provided them with good sustenance and favored them above most of our creation. So this oneness of worth and honor is the basis for our equal rights and responsibilities for interaction with one another. In fact, the equality, in fact, is the foundation of morality. Let me say that one more time. Equality is the foundation of morality. It is the threshold of morality. The diversity in our races, colors, cultures, and languages should be wonders to celebrate rather than grounds for discrimination. God declares, and among His wonders is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the diversity of your languages and colors. For in this, there are truly signs for people who reflect. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, لا فضل لعربي على عجمي ولا لعجمي على عربي ولا لأسود على أبيض ولا لأبيض على أسود إلا بالتقوى كلكم من آدم وآدم من تراب. He said that there is no superiority for an Arab over a non-Arab, nor for a non-Arab over an Arab. Neither is the white superior over the black, neither is the black superior over the white. Kullukum, you are all from Adam, and Adam came from the dust. He came from the earth. Thirdly, Our family is one. God uses the address children of Adam 7 times in the Holy Quran. So by love, this family formed. Out of love, its children were born. And through knowing one another, by caring and giving, this bond will remain. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. That none of you will truly believe until he loves for his brother or sister in humanity what he loves for himself. I mentioned there's 2 things that will make this bond remain: caring and giving. Caring begins with the greeting of peace and culminates with establishing it. So normally 2 people come together in an engagement that begins with a greeting, and then that opens the door to interaction. It is in fact in the interaction that peace is established. Giving begins with charity and then develops through exchanging gifts that fosters love. And it culminates with altruism. And that altruism actually actualizes the oneness of humanity. And in the saying, in the happiness of others lies our own, rings true. The 4th oneness is our home is one. This necessitates our collaboration, peaceful coexistence, and taking care of this home. Having one home means we have a common purpose, which is stewardship. And I know that it was mentioned in one of the previous presentations. The human being in the Islamic worldview is the representative of God on earth. The Quran says, behold, your Lord said to the angels, I am putting my successor on earth. He breathed into us from his spirit, bestowed us with intellect and guidance, and placed this entire creation under our care. The Quran mentions, he has subjected all that is in the heavens and the earth for your benefit as a gift from him. Surely in that are signs for those who reflect. God created everything in measure and proportion to be in harmony with the balance of nature. It is our responsibility to maintain this balance. God says he raised the sky and set the balance of nature so that you don't overstep the balance, but establish it justly. And do not fall short in maintaining the balance of nature. Survival needs in nature works in ways that may seem quite harsh to us. However, human intervention can never equal the laws of nature in maintaining this balance of nature. Moreover, this harshness works as a contrast for gentleness and kindness, which are required for human beings. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, Al-khalqu kulluhum iyalullah. فَأَحَبُّ الْخَلْقِ إِلَى اللَّهِ أَنْفَعُهُمْ لِعِيَالِهِ. That all of creation are God's dependents. He loves most those who are most beneficial to his dependents. So this intimates to the appropriate cultivation of the earth, wise use of its natural resources, and preserving them for future generations. So I have mentioned really 4 onenesses. The oneness of origin, oneness of worth, oneness of family, and the oneness of home. So let me delve a little into morality, which is really applied ethics. The principles of morality underlie our family relationships, our dealings and interactions, our caring for our home. It is an intrinsic goodness for all human beings at birth. Moral principles bring about positive intentions and lead to beneficial interactions with one another and with nature. Therefore, the starting point of morality is avoidance of harm. The starting point of morality is the avoidance of harm. This paves the way to maintaining peaceful coexistence and the balance of nature. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, La darar wa la dirar. There should be neither harming of anyone, nor nurturing harm in the heart and continuing to act upon it. It was straying from the grounds of morality over time through heedlessness or greed that God sent his prophets and inspired spiritual leaders to remind people of this birthright, this intrinsic goodness. It is the religion of all the prophets from Adam to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon them all, who received this message of morality through divine revelation. And it is the wisdom taught by our enlightened spiritual leaders through the history of humanity who discovered this birthright through deep contemplation. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, إنما بعثت لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق. The conjunction إنما in Arabic has the idea of what's known as أداة الحصر. It limits, it's a limiting or a specifying conjunction. So the meaning of the statement of the Prophet is that the only reason I was sent is to perfect moral character. This is the Islam that embraces all humanity in a civil society where people peacefully coexist. Since the Muslim is defined as the one whose tongue and hand people are safe from. And the faithful one, the mu'min, is the one whom people trust with their lives and belongings. Morality, thus, is for happiness in this world and the other worldly life. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
يفتح الكمبيوتر الآن شغالين في شهرين. From the people, from the hotel people. It's working now. It's working. It's working. It's working.
Okay.
It's working.
Thank you.
عشان بعديها أنا أطلع لنا البرزنتيشن.
Okay. Thank you very much to our Honorable Sheikh Muhammad Tulba and also his student and Honorable brother Mr. Muhammad Bilal Ali. I got it right this time.
Full name.
I'm not going to cut it short. And coming now actually to an essential contribution for our conference today. And I'm saying essential because some people, as we know, they may be of the same stance, same stand on the truth, same practice, same morality, same way of thinking, and same world view. However, we suffer from labeling, and that is quite a matter that is not helping us to go forward. And as we mentioned, we are living in a world that we are now badly in need of getting together. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Councillor Nita Bashir. And let me say just a couple of words about her, because we were desperate actually getting through to representatives from some of these great world religions. And a help came again from the community house. Thanks for Ingrid and Merlin. So they signposted us. And let me say, to the right person for the job. Councillor Nita, in fact, I'm not going to say like she got a couple of hats, but she has so many hats. She is doing quite well in our community at large, covering areas from social care to all what you think of the helping of professions like even education. She is chairing one of the SACRE in Gwent. And that is, for those who do not know, is that council for advising the local authorities on the religious education. And I have been in a couple of these, and I know how hard a job it is. So allow me now to introduce Nita to address the conference and share from their wonders of the Sikh tradition. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Where's he gone? Thank you very much for those kind words. I'm a bit embarrassed and humbled as well, and whatever Marlon has told you, but thank you again very much. What I'm going to do is, before I start, I'm just going to play a short piece of music which will actually wake us up. And the music is all about, it'll only last a split second, that when we go to our religious denominations, we only ask, take. When we've got ask and take, we forget to say, thank you, Lord. We get on with our lives. Take, take, take. Ask, ask, ask. Move on. Forget about it. Selfish human beings we are. But there we are. Just a line. And this, when I...
Raise the voice of the phone.
Please do, because I know we are already running late and I don't want to be. Thank you for your kind invitation. It's a pleasure to be with you all and share views on this important topic and come to some agreement. I think I'm going to be summarizing most of it by what I've heard today. Let me say from my heart, when I told my family that I've been asked to make this presentation, my sister who lives in Canada, my brother who lives in India sent me lovely writings and lovely views, which I then compiled and put together. And my dear husband corrected it all for me. Well, you've got to have somebody to sort it all out, isn't it? So, as you know, I speak from a Sikh perspective, and the greeting is Sat Sri Akal. Throughout the presentation, I'll be making reference to it, so please take note, and your guidebooks afterwards will have everything. Sikhism is based on the spiritual teachings of Guru Nanak, the first master, and the 9 gurus who succeeded him. The 10th master, Guru Gobind Singh, named the Sikh scripture Guru Granth Sahib as his successor, terminating the line of human gurus and making the scripture internal, religious and spiritual guide for all the Sikhs. Sikhism rejects claim that any specific tradition has monopoly on absolute truth. And you've heard this throughout the morning from all the speakers, and I can see everybody agreeing. It postulates that all people, regardless of their gender, ethnicity, religious belief, or lack of it, are equal before God. Sikh scriptures open with the word Ek Omkar, meaning there is one and only one God. 3 fundamental principles of Sikhism established by Guru Nanak are: Kirt karo, do an honest living. Naam japo, regularly recite the divine name. Vand chako, share your fruit of labor with others. Sikhism teaches followers to transform and find salvation from the 5 evils: lust, rage, greed, attachment, and ego. I think I've moved a slide forward, but that's okay.
You can use the arrow if you want to go back.
Greater than truth is truthful living. That's the holy book, Guru Granth Sahib, page 62. Nanak's sense of moral responsibility equals fair interaction between people under the watchful sight of the true Guru. Taking more than one's fair share is seen as a taboo comparable to eating beef for the Hindus and pork for the Muslims, page 141. On the other hand, charity is key to good life. Caste system voiced for dignity of women. Nanak condemned rituals, superstitions. He started the system of seva, langar, which if you go into all the Sikh gurdwaras, temples, as you may call them, throughout the world, regardless of what it is, a fresh vegetarian meal is cooked by the volunteers of the day, and anybody who enters the premises is encouraged to eat. In fact, Sikhs do feel offended if people don't eat and go, but they won't declare that. But that applies throughout the world anyway. Pangat means collection of people, as you can see, and in the Golden Temple or thousands and thousands of people are served. And over here also, during religious days, non-religious days, people, homeless people, are encouraged to come into the Gurdwara. Refugees who we have to serve, that's what I feel we have to serve, are encouraged to come so that they can get a good hot meal, regardless of who they are. Only please do not smoke when you go into a Gurdwara. That's the only thing. And sharing of food, which is very important, as you can see. Amar Das, the third Guru, sought to eradicate the concept of the whale system practiced by some women, I can say Muslim women, and sati system, which was practiced by the Hindus. He encouraged devotees to truthful living, to keep the mind in control, to eat only when hungry, and make honest living, seek company of pious people, and worship the Lord. Hargobind, the sixth master, formalized the concept of Miri and Piri, and I've got some slides outside which you can read as well, by symbolizing the worldly or political authority and the spiritual strengths. He combined in a manner to be mutually coexistent. Sikhs involved in times of religious persecutions of Hindus. This triggered the foundation of the Khalsa, form of Sikhs as formalized by the 10th Guru. Initiation was given as an order to protect the freedom of conscience and religious qualities of saint soldiers to the devotees. Sikhs believe that human beings spend their time in a circle of birth, life, and rebirth. This belief is shared with the followers of other religions such as Hindus, Jains, and Buddhists. Quality of each life depends on their karma. We live in a cynical world that appears to be numbered and helpless in the face of appalling conflict, injustice, and inequality. Current world we live in is scientifically very clever. But blurred in morality. Surprisingly, many people turn towards religion. Sikhs' religion was founded in very difficult and turbulent time. First Master himself was an eyewitness to cruelty, aristocracies, and forced conversion at that time. He challenged the myth of ethnic or religious superiority, as mentioned by previous speakers as well. In his historic words, he said, "Na koi Hindu, na koi Musalman, neither there is a Hindu nor there is a Muslim. God is not interested in labels. Different religions are simply different paths to a goal of understanding and living in conformity with the will of God." Sikh Holy Book consists of the writings of the Sikh Gurus and other Hindu and Muslim saints of the time. The foundation stone of Harmandir Sahib, the Golden Temple, as we all know it, was laid by a Muslim saint. I do not know of any example where the foundation stone of the most sacred religion's shrine has been laid by a saint of another religion. As a Sikh, I'm proud of this tradition of respect for pluralism, coexistence, recognition of differences. The ninth master, Tegh Bahadur, was publicly beheaded to protect the beliefs of other faiths. Central to Sikh religion and belief is the concept of equality. A Sikh woman is given the name Kaur, literally meaning princess. This is to emphasize elevated traits of women taking part in community affairs, national affairs, or world affairs. Social responsibility and spiritual responsibility go hand in hand. Example is of a lotus flower with its roots in muddy water, still flowering beautifully above. Sikhs live in a society, work constantly for the improvement, but always be above its meaningless and pettiness. Commitment to social and political justice through means of preaching violence. Sikhs' teachings predate the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, which in context of human rights also refers to the use of force as a last resort. But even in exceptional use of force, there should be compassion. This is illustrated by a well-known example, incident of a Sikh water carrier serving water to the wounded, irrespective of whether they were friends or foes. I remember as a young girl growing up, my mother or my parents on religious days, we were encouraged often in our gurdwara, our temple, to serve water to everyone. Not that I understood the meaning at that time, but now I do. And now I do, and I make sure that whenever I speak, somehow or the other, this example gravitates into my speech or into my writings. Sikh teachings remind us that in a quest for greater social and political justice, we must look to man-made defects in our social and political institutions. Example is the way nations behave as if their boundaries were in some way God-given, rather than a product of force, aggression, or political compromise in which minorities suffer. As a Sikh, I agree with Pandit Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, who declared, "The rights of the minority are more than a responsibility, they are a sacred trust." Finally, Guru Nanak said, looking at the environment, "Pavan Guru Pani Pita, Mata Dharam Mahat." Air is a teacher, water is a father, great sacred earth is a mother. EcoSikh, a Sikh organization, urges us to act to reverse the effects of climate change has had on Earth and to take action now. If we act now, we can protect our atmosphere, water resources for ourselves and our future generation. To conclude, my experiences on this topic have shown me that today it is important to have an open discussion and understanding of religion's faith through education, discussion, to have an appreciation of the viewpoints of others. It is also paramount to find commonalities of natural acts or deeds that serve all the humanity, although the method and in some ways the instances and ideology may differ. An interactive forum of discussion about commonality of purpose and appreciation of diversity is a strong basis for finding grounds for peaceful coexistence. However, on the other hand, lack of knowledge or inadequate understanding of a perspective of others' viewpoints can lead to missed opportunity and dismay. I can pause here and say we've got a very good opportunity, a great opportunity, and we must take this opportunity forward and get something good going for, if not the whole nation, at least for Wales. In my work with diverse communities, the need to emphasize that respect and tolerance for each other. Viewpoint, I'll start again. In my work with diverse communities, the need to emphasize that respect and tolerance for each other. Viewpoint is paramount, and those who propose views of division are sidelined in a circular society. Thank you.
I'll do the rest, don't worry.
So good.
أيوة. This is me.
That is you. Thank you very much indeed, Councillor Nita, for all the wonders that came from your heart, and I hope they rest in our hearts and continue through our generations. This oneness, in fact, is all what we need. I'm aware also, like now, we have a panel discussion, and I got one presentation, and we have to do this gifts as well, which are going to be distributed. In my plan, previous plan, is to get this guy again with his oud, so as also to wake up our hearts and minds again, if we got the time. Okay. Now let me introduce now our research manager, Professor Asim Sheikh Ahmed. And Asim, in fact, part of his job throughout all of these is to get everything together. Sometimes even he may go out reaching for speakers and representatives, and he had a wonderful effort that, as you have seen, we are enjoying all today. However, he had one which actually left some deep feelings for the place of worship, the Hindu temple. And a couple of people he met there, and he looked into Hinduism, even though we, from the beginning, were looking for someone to come and verse their perspectives. However, for some reasons, I think health reasons, the people we approached were unable to come for medical reasons. So Professor Asim put this short presentation for us to share some of the findings he found and the wonders, let me say, in Hinduism. So the stage is yours, Prof.
Thank you.
And
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, I just want to say one or two words before I go into this. Of course, I'm very happy to stand in front of this esteemed audience. I really enjoyed the whole day with all these very informative and very useful presentations that were delivered during this day. We had hoped that we will have a representative from the Hindu tradition to come in front of us and share with us what they believe in and their ideas about one humanity, morality, and earth. But we were actually unsuccessful in a way that they had some health reasons and so on, and they did not come. And we thought that Hinduism is a very important religion and followed by a huge number of people, and we thought that missing out this whole thing is not a good idea, so I thought of making a very, very short presentation. Of course, we do not claim that we speak in their name. I did some research in their books and websites and so on. And I came up with this very short presentation with some definitions of their terms and what they believe in regarding the morality, humanity, and earth. And this is what I have. It's just about 6 slides. What is Hinduism based on? Hinduism is based on Sanatana Dharma. I practiced Sanatana Dharma, and I was helped by our respectable lady in helping me to pronounce the words, because actually I don't know how to pronounce them. Sanatana Dharma, the most ancient of all religions of today, and popularly called Hinduism. It is a way of life. And there are some other things. Sanatana means eternal. Dharma means the value of life that sustains. Therefore, Sanatana Dharma means the religion based on the eternal sustaining values of life. And Hindus believe in Brahman as the true God, who is formless, limitless, all-inclusive, and eternal. Yeah. Brahman is not an abstract concept. It is a real entity that encompasses everything seen and unseen in the universe. And I think we all agree that we all believe in that one way or another. It is the same. It's just how you look at it. Sometimes I say it's just your perspective to things. It's a God. And some people look at it from a specific perspective and they see something. Other people look from another perspective and see something else. If they see the big picture, it's probably the same. Yeah. The goal of the individual soul is moksha. Moksha is liberation. The soul's release from the cycle of death and rebirth. It occurs when the soul unites with Brahman by realizing its true nature. Several paths can lead to this realization and unity: the path of duty, the path of knowledge, and the path of devotion, unconditional surrender to God. And from all what I'm doing now, I'm just trying to say that we actually, all of us, we've been hearing all kinds of things during this day. We all actually believe in one, but it depends on how we look at it, from which perspective we look at it. This is my belief anyway. One humanity. The great yogi Sri Ramakrishna said, service to mankind is service to God. A scholarly monk of Sri Ramakrishna order mentioned in one of his talks to the teachers, it is a great blessing to be needed by others, to be able to do something for others. Can you live a life where you are of no use to others? It will be a very boring life, I'm sure of that. Yeah, actually we feel our worth when we interact, yeah. Morality. Everyone should strive to achieve Dharma, and I remember the definition we gave at that. Unfortunately, no single English word adequately covers its meaning. Dharma can be described as right conduct, righteousness, moral law, and duty. There are no set of rules that govern you, but a way of life that makes you think about others. The essence is about karma, the cycle of life. It basically means that every good thought, word, or deed begets a similar reaction. Your good deeds will always be rewarded, and your mistakes will allow growth as you learn from them. Hinduism teaches tolerance and acceptance. It is building of good character. And I'm sure that we all agree to all of that. This is what we should. And one of the things I liked in this is saying that your mistakes will allow growth as you learn from them. It's not talking about making mistakes and then being punished. No, just take them as a lesson and that we can improve. Hindu environmental teachings. Let me put it all in one screen and then we talk. The diverse theologies of Hinduism suggest that the earth can be seen as a manifestation of Goddess and must be treated with respect. The 5 elements, space, air, fire, water, and earth, which our respected lady talked about earlier, are the foundation of an interconnected web of life. Dharma, often translated as duty, can be reinterpreted to include our responsibility to care for the earth. Simple living is a model for the development of sustainable economies. Our treatment of nature directly affects our karma. Very, very beautiful ideas and words. Yeah. And simple life. This is a very important thing. I used to study, in my bachelor degree, I had some courses in economics. And it touched me, this phrase, simple living is a model for the development of sustainable economies. A very interesting phrase. And I think that's it, is it? Yeah, slide 6 of 6. Thank you, of course, very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go back to our program. I hope it was useful. Of course, I am a student in this area, so I... Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thanks to all our wonderful, honorable speakers. And let me now invite them to the front for a panel discussion. So before they take their seats, can you please take your places, our respected speakers?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Please.
And as I mentioned actually at the beginning, this session is going to be, first of all, I will allow the panelists to share actually reflections, or if they want, because I am not in a position to summarize or give like closing remarks or summary of the day for all these wonders.
We can see you all now.
I think we need that chair. We need that chair somewhere. Yeah.
Would you like a glass of water?
No. Yes. Thank you very much, Prof. So, first of all, allow me to invite my panelists to share. Feel free to take the chance if you have some reflections, things that you want to add that may illustrate more your presentation or thoughts about the day, please. Someone?
I was inspired by the serving of water.
Perhaps there are some questions.
Yeah.
Questions?
I think the main Sikhism, as I said, in Guru Nanak Dev Ji's time, was started in just after 1469, and it's a religion. What I call for myself is a democratic religion. Status of women is very, very important, and as long as we know our scriptures, as long as we know the language, whether you are a male or a female, you're welcome to lead the congregation. There is some training, but as far as life goes on, or before it came, women were always allowed to lead the congregation. There was no hoo-ha about it. And equality seems to be one of the most important things. The seva of langar, which is the communal meal, is again, we as children, when we grow up, we are encouraged to take part in the service, to go and help out. And that's where our voluntary service begins. That's where our strength for voluntary service begins. And that we continue as we grow up, if we want to continue. And that's, to me, is very important. And again, that comes down to this, Rabbi, I think you said that all the teachings come from home, from your mother. And that's exactly the basis and the foundation of Sikhism as well. Equality, democracy, get on with, have no labels, please. Have no labels. Let's come to a compromise. Do some good in the world today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Feel free to come, by the way.
Yeah, I think so.
Any comments?
Okay.
Are you going in
I think I was forced to go that way.
It's not my job. I'm now retiring. Just do it yourself.
Well, okay. My thoughts and comments. I think, if you remember in my presentation, I mentioned a statement of the Prophet in which he said, "La darar wa la dirar," that there shouldn't be any harming of anybody. And so I said probably the beginning point is not to do any other person harm. And that's, if I may borrow from some other traditions, particularly maybe from the Jewish tradition, I think it's Rabbi Hillel, I may be corrected, who, when asked about what's the total meaning of the Torah and what's its message, and he said that as long as you don't, what you find harmful for yourself, you don't do unto others, that's the entire message of the Torah, and the rest is commentary. And so that mirrors the statement of the Prophet. And also, for example, another tradition, maybe Jainism, where they have the idea of ahimsa, which is the idea of you don't even harm plants or insects. So in a sense, you could see that trend and theme throughout so many different religions. And so I think that's one of the, personally I believe it's an amazing starting point. And the impact it's had throughout modern history at least has been, we can see, for example, in the civil rights movement, in Mahatma Gandhi, and the approach of, peaceful protest and so on. So I would just say it's an honorable beginning, I think.
Thank you very much, Bilal.
I just add something small. He didn't leave anything for me. I understood today from this good gathering that the message is the same for all religions. And I spoke to the rabbi that all religions are very close. They have the same idea. When God created us, He didn't leave us alone, but He sent, prophets to teach us. And we can understand easily because all these prophets sent from the same God. So the same message, we are one human, respect. And Brother Muhammad Bilal said in his presentation that Allah created us from Adam and Eve. That's it. So I have the feeling that all people all over the world, they are the same family. They like brothers and sisters. And this is what Islam encouraged us to do, to love each other, to spread peace and love. Even the greeting of Muslim, we say Assalamu alaikum. And if we research about the origin and the root of the word Salam, it came from Islam, and Salam means peace. So that means when we salute or greeting someone, we say Assalamu alaikum, means peace and a blessing be upon you. So Allah created us, our father and mother, same Adam and Eve. And that's very simple as that. So it is a good chance to gather today to make mutual understanding, which spread peace and love. When we understand each other, we will have more respect and more peace.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sheikh.
moving along in this direction. So. Who's next on the hit list? Dear friends, I want to speak as a passionate Welshman, if you don't mind. I think getting together today is extraordinary, and all the hard work that's gone into this wonderful conference is amazing. The spirit of oneness here is fantastic, but it needn't stay in this room. It has to go out. You know, Baha'u'llah speaks about looking at the needs of the age we live in, and the need of this age is to make it plain to people that religion in essence is one. We've come to understand that we're one humanity on this planet, and that's taken the whole of the 20th century of the greatest horrors that the world has ever known, through 2 world wars and all the other horrors of leftovers of colonialism and so on. It's taken us 100 years of terror to realize that we're one mankind on this planet. Is it going to take another 100 years to realize the essence of religion is one? And in that, will this commit us to more heinous crimes perpetrated against fellow human beings from the same family? It mustn't do this, love. It mustn't do it. We must love our faith. We must love the essence of our faith. But most of all, we must love each other as an expression of that. And friends, you know, I'm knocking on a bit now. I'm over 70 years of age. I'm trying to look younger. I've had a new hairstyle. So I'm getting there eventually. Yes, I've had an operation, so that's given me a bit longer of longevity. I think I'll last to 100, but I'm not sure. But what I'm trying to really get over is that we need to involve young people in this. The future is with young people. We must speak with young people. Want to see us from the various faith communities working together to restore hope. They don't see, they see on the news all the differences and all the terrible ruptures between humanity because of so-called misunderstandings of religion, and they hate religion because of it. I used to as well. Friends, I thought religion was the problem in the world, not the answer. Okay? The answer is deeply rooted in all the faiths, and we have to bring this out. And if young people especially don't see that coming from us, working together, loving each other, overcoming the problems, getting upset with each other, misunderstanding each other, but still staying together as a family. That's what we do as a family. I come from a family where we're Welsh. And we have so many ups and downs from time to time. And isn't that part of the family structure of things? We need to understand, even if people get angry with us, they have a right to if they want to. That's where they're coming from. And all we have to do is be kind and loving back to them and express our concern for the deep-rooted feelings that they have. And they will then see a oneness of religion, the essence of all religion. Let's take this out to the whole of mankind. Well, I want the whole of mankind, okay? I want to go to the universe. I believe there's life on other planets, by the way. But I want to go to the universe eventually. But let's stay here for where we are at the moment. And young people, just to go out and you know, let's speak about this enthusiastically with young people. Young people need to be inspired with a vision, a wonderful vision. And I was speaking with my very recently good friend, Sabina. Am I saying it correctly? Yeah? She is a Hindu lady, okay? And I'm just wondering whether I can ask her to come up here and say what you would like to see after this conference. Would that be okay? Okay. Am I allowed to do that? Yes?
It is your chance.
Yes, come by here. She just said a few words to me. I thought, this woman's got it. She's got the vision. She gave it to me.
Yes. First of all, I want to thank you, Dr. Abdullah, and all the organizers for this wonderful conference. Secondly, I want to thank you, all the wonderful volunteers. They are so selfless and very helpful, very hospitable, absolutely wonderful. Well, we all have attended so many conferences, but I've not seen this. I cannot equalize with anybody like this group of volunteers. They're wonderful, really. I'm talking from the bottom of my heart. Okay, about what I said. Sorry,
we are hoping one day we'll have a big religious congress in Millennium Stadium, open air. So we'll invite, public, general public. They can come and go whenever they want to. There's no restriction, and I think that way we can possibly unite more people. That's what I think. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you for asking.
Next year in the Principality Stadium. That's what she's saying.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think I'm next. I think that it's, from the Buddhist perspective, we have view and we have method. Method are the way that we manifest our practice as people of religion. And I think that my experience of being here today is that we all share the same methods. We all share the method of wanting to be kind to each other, to find that kindness within one another, and to feel this feeling of being a family, and we can be friends with everybody if we are able to discover that. But I also want to remind people that we must also allow people to be different. And Buddhism is actually quite different to most other world religions in that we do not believe in a creator God, and we do not talk about God in the way that most of you have talked about God in your presentations. So you have to be able to entertain that difference in us in the same way that we entertain that difference in you. But remember that our methods we share, that open-hearted kindness and wish for that, we share that.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well, I said quite enough earlier on. So pagans are very well known for stealing bits from all of the other cultures. We are cultural magpies, we do. Our mythology, our gods, everything is nicked from everybody else. So while we're on a roll of thievery, I'm going to steal something from pop culture. Because what I've learnt today is we are all from different places. We are all from different paths. Now, there was a fairly big blockbuster a few years ago called Avatar. And they use a particular greeting in that film, which they didn't create. That is from several very old civilizations. But when they see each other, their greeting, instead of hi, is, I see you. And that touched me profoundly then. And that is something that I'm reminded of today. I look around and I don't see the path that you're on. I don't see where you've come from. I'm seeing you and you're seeing me, and we're seeing each other as people, as souls, as, I want to say earth warriors. But that's what we are. We're here with one mission together, and I see you, and I thank you for that.
Thank you. I could only really reiterate the comments that have already been made. We've seen today a huge display of unity, and really the purpose of what we're all here in this world for, to make the world better for each other and for the world as a whole. I think one of the things we often see is we often come to these kind of interfaith conferences, and today was a particularly good conference. But I think what's important is many of us here are faith leaders or people, if you will, who are engaged. But there's a huge amount of people, if you will, who are not here, who don't know that there's many, many faith leaders here sitting together saying pretty much the same thing. And I think it's important that not only do we share this message here, but we share this message outside. And so people, if you will, who are not here, who are in our communities or whatever circles we may be in, also understand this message of unity, that actually this is the main purpose, this is what it's all about. And this is, from my faith perspective, what I want my faith to understand and follow, and I hope that this is the message that goes out from today.
Thank you very much.
I think today has been a tremendously joyful day and a tremendously hope-filled day. I suppose if I'm absolutely honest, I have to say that I'm with my Buddhist sister, and I think we have to acknowledge not that all our religions are the same, but they are all highly distinctive. And we've all received an understanding of God which is fundamental to the way we live our faith, and about which we could argue. I think what's important is that we choose not to argue, but we choose to respect. And it is that respect and that hospitality and that ability to say that whatever your faith, you can stand for a world which allows all to prosper and in which all can flourish. That is a sign of hope for the future, for humanity, whatever our faith.
Thank you. Thank you very much, our honorable panelists and faith leaders, presenters, and now it is for the stage. I can see our IT who is following. I can see our IT, Ibrahim Yasin, following, and I understand that, Ibrahim, you got a question from the live streaming. Can you first tell us from which part of the world is that?
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, it's working. Okay. We believe that it's from Jordan, actually. From Jordan in the Middle East. From a lady known as Nada Hassan. Mm-hmm. And her question, and it's to the whole panel, is what is the main relationship between all the religions as you've gathered from your proceedings today? And what would be the most important and prominent message that we need to spread to society after this conference? Oh. It's quite an in-depth question.
It needs another conference. If anyone would like to come.
I would like to pick up on something that my pagan sister said to me.
Yeah.
Said to us. Because she talked about Avatar and the greeting in Avatar. Actually, it's rooted in the culture of this world as well, because the Zulu greeting is Sawubona, which is I see you. And for me, this is the message that I would want to convey to those out in the world. We see each other. We recognize each other. We give worth and value and respect to each other. Because if we can respect each other, and if we can acknowledge the integrity of one another, then we cannot any longer do violence to one another.
Thank you.
And that is something that this world needs to learn.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you very much, Bishop Cameron. Anyone?
Sawubona.
Yes.
Yes, I love the question from Jordan. Wonderful. You know, I said in the talk that the root cause of all problems is ignorance, in actual fact. And so if we can understand, we can go deeper and try to understand things about religion, I think we will see that we are well and truly united. Baha'u'llah who was the founder of the Baha'i faith, spent 40 years suffering intensely to bring a deeper understanding of what is religion and how, in essence, they are all one. He says, in actual fact, that there are two aspects to religion. One is the inner aspect, the non-changing, the holy of holies, that everything, all the great messengers of God or prophets or however we term them, they're all speaking the same language. They're all saying the same thing. Love, patience, resignation, submission to the will of God, helpfulness, justice. All these are expounded time and time again in each of the faiths. And they always, a man said to me when I was a young person, he said, they all say the same but just sat underneath different trees. And I like that. However, Baha'u'llah says that's the fundamental aspect of religion, of which is one, that's what I've been referring to earlier. That's the essence of religion. We go deeper into it, and when we have a look at all the major religions, we find that they have another message suited to the time that they come, that they are not static entities. If everything moves on and is changeable and is developing and is evolving, why should religion, which is so fundamental for mankind's happiness and progress be the only thing that stays static and is a once and for all affair, dear friends? Do you think our Heavenly Father, our God, or however we look at God, or something greater than ourselves, would allow us just to be static all the time? It says in the Holy Quran, it says, if all the seeds of the world were turned into ink and all the trees were turned into pens, it would still not exhaust the Word of God. Okay? Do we think then that all revelation is finished just with a particular manifestation of God? Baha'u'llah teaches that they give a message for the day and age in which they come. And the age that we're in now is the gathering together of mankind. We are not 1,000 years ago, we're not 2,000 years ago, we're not 3,000. We are here in the 21st century. And we must understand that coming together to root out our differences is based upon getting a firmer grasp of these two aspects of religion. I speak about it passionately because I can only see increased trouble and conflict unless we go deeper into these two aspects. The fundamental teachings of religion are the same, but they come along, each teacher comes along to meet the needs of the age in which we're living. And the need of this age is the coming together of the whole human race. And how can that be done? Unless we go further than tolerance, dear friends, further than tolerance. It is a deeper understanding of something.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Just to see if is anyone.
Yeah, just a very quick one.
Yeah, because.
Well, all I wanted to say was Sikhism is all about peace in the world, and what we must do is we must take steps ourselves to tolerate, to talk to people, rather than waiting for them to come to us. After this day, I think some of us can take our footsteps towards some other religious denomination which we haven't visited, and ask them, can we come and visit your service? Can we come and not visit your service, can we come and take part in your service? And that will be a start and of putting the links together. And I hope people will take that love and understanding and tolerance and move forward with that.
Thank you.
Bismillah. I just wanted to mention that I take on board everything that the panels have said, especially about the issues of unity and the differences and everything. A story just came to my mind of when the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, when he first went into Medina. And obviously he classified everyone in that city to be citizens, regardless of whatever their faith, or no faith in fact. Because you had fire worshippers there, you had Christians, you had Jews and so on. And they were all classified as one citizen. The second issue is the idea of equality and the idea of worth, the worth that you give to the other human being. Because an incident, it's a very famous story within Islamic history, is that the Prophet ﷺ, he was once sitting in a gathering amongst his companions on the roads in Medina, and there was a funeral procession that came by. And as an act of respect, that the Prophet Muhammad, he stood up due to the funeral procession. And his companions among him said to him, that's the funeral of a Jew. That's the funeral procession of a Jewish person. And his response to his companions was, أَوَلَيْسَتْ نَفْسًا? Doesn't he have a soul? Beyond our differences, and we, in fact, let me finish on this. I would say there's more things that unite us than divide us.
This is really, really quick. But one of the things, when we're sat here, it's very easy because we're all in here and we all know what we're here for. But thinking about going forward, it's quite a daunting prospect, the amount of ideas out there. And it made me think of a very quick story that is something that I think of when I feel a little bit overwhelmed. That there was a man walking on the beach, and in the distance he saw a young person doing a strange little dance. And as he came closer, he said, "What are you doing?" And the young person was bending down and picking up starfish and throwing them into the sea. And he said, well, the sun's coming up and the tide's going out, and I'm trying to throw these starfish into the sea before they all dry out. And the man said, well, that's ridiculous. There are hundreds of miles of shore. You can't possibly make a difference. And the boy picked up a starfish and he threw it in and he said, I just made a difference to that one.
Yeah.
And that's where we start.
I think we can now go to stage, maybe.
Where is the microphone now? The microphone. There are two questions here. Yeah.
And please, if you want, raise your hand high.
No.
Yeah.
How much have we got? Have we got time? Otherwise, I'll stop. Have we got time for that?
Actually,
yes. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for you said changing of time, and we have to move on according to changing of time, and we have to see the practicality of life as well. Doesn't matter which religious group we belong to or where we come from. So I would like to ask a question, very practical and very necessary question. So what is that opinion of all the leaders about religious opinion about handling money? I know Muslim, you have got something very, very strict government about that, handling religion. So if you could kindly tell everybody how we should handle money.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Money.
How to handle money. وكيف يعني فهم الإسلام النقود إلى المجتمع.
Anyone wants to come back on this?
Could you just clarify that for a couple of us? Was it handling money?
Sorry, earning and spending money. Like
Right.
Muslims, you don't allow taking interest.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of things really.
Okay.
Yes. How much we can earn, how much we should be spending for ourselves, how much we should give to other people, poor people, that sort of things really. It's nothing written law about it, but accurate morality.
We have, in paganism, we have no written law. We have nothing, nothing other than to say that we give what we can, we take what we need, and we try not to take more than we need. We also tend to not practice witchcraft for money. If somebody comes to you and they require healing or they require some kind of spiritual work done, then you may ask for them to give you something as an offering for your time, maybe to bake you a cake or something, or to pay for materials, for candles, for herbs. But be very, very wary of somebody who will say, yes, I can do this, but it will cost you because this isn't real work.
I could say it's the same in Buddhism, that the teachers do not receive any money
Yeah,
to teach.
Very quickly, Sikhism believes in sharing. What you have, it needs to be shared within the community. Service to the community, service to humanity is the paramount principle of Sikhism.
Can I just say that in the Baha'i faith, Baha'u'llah wrote over 100 volumes over a 40-year period, and these type of questions are extensively covered in the Baha'i writings. And but I don't want to go into extensively now, because we'd be here for a fortnight. Needless to say that it is an amazing question, and we must ask this question. How are we going to have a world which is not just spiritually progressing, but materially progressing as well? The two must go hand in hand. One without the other we can't have a lovely spiritually enlightened community and next door they're starving to death. You know, the two must go hand in hand. But we would say that there's a book of laws of Baha'u'llah called the... Yes, indeed, yeah. And there are many teachings in there, and some of it links in with the previous revelation, we would say. We talk about huququllah, which is the right of God, which is another thing to explain perhaps when we have some time, another time. There's zakat as well, which is in Islam as well. However, there are other laws within the Baha'i writings. But what I wanted to point out was that the economic problems of the world, whether we charge interest on loans or we don't charge interest on loans, which is a big debate between various religious communities and so on, whether that happens or not. What Baha'u'llah says is that the solution to the economic problems is not economy. We're not going to solve our problems by economic policies and theories. In actual fact, we're going to entrench ourselves more in difficulties because of this. He says that the economic problems of the world are fundamentally solved through spiritual understandings. So when spirituality abounds amongst people, then we start trusting each other. I mean, what did he used to say on the pound note? It says, I promise to pay the bearer the sum of £1. Did it used to say something like that? And it's based upon trust and trustworthiness. You take trustworthiness out of relationships between all people, and you put best policies in their place, and you end up with what we have now in the world, where there's so much corruption, bribery, graft, and so on. It's because the spiritual nature of man needs to fundamentally change, and then to be imbued with greater understandings about a world an economy for the whole of mankind, which is just and equitable.
Thank you very much indeed. Gentlemen, I think one of our panelists, Dr. Gregory Cameron, in fact, is going to leave us in a couple of minutes. And that is why I just want to interrupt, but not to finish this, with the reading of this declaration, and we could have his signature. He will have his gift, and we will continue, if you don't mind, for just to satisfy those who are raising questions, as well as those on board, those from abroad who are sending questions to IT Ibrahim. So this declaration, as I mentioned, is just about all what you have here and what is in common. But for you to share it, allow me to read it, and then Mr. Magdi is going to request Dr. Gregory Cameron to sign, and I think you will receive your gift before you leave. Thank you very much. Declaration of the World. Pardon?
Is it possible to lift it up a bit so we can see the end?
Okay.
Yeah.
You will.
I think it is one part of it is that because it is projecting down, while it can go a little
as
bit
it
up.
is read, it will scroll up.
Yeah.
Okay,
I will while reading, and I will do that. So this is the conference declaration. Declaration of the Wales Interfaith Conference, Cardiff, 10th of May 2018. We, the faith leaders and communities meeting at the Wales Interfaith Conference, Cardiff, 10th of May 2018, agree on the following. Humanity is one. Therefore, we have a strong hold on equality, respect, and worth. We respect our differences and acknowledge that diversity in faith, race, gender, or culture enriches our oneness and strengthens our community relations. We agree that morality is based on doing good to others and refraining from causing harm. This is the foundation upon which we can build good community relations, respect, and love. Earth is our Earth is our only home. Thanks, Dr. Gregory, for that. This necessitates our collaboration, responsible and peaceful coexistence, and it is on us to maintain its balanced system within which we live and thrive. Therefore, it is our responsibility to live in harmony with all the components of the planet. That is not corrected here. I'm correcting, reading the right one. And all the components of the planet and maintain it suitable for us as a place for us and our future generations to live. Our agreement on the above will surely pave the way for our collaboration in community activities that improve the quality of our environment and community relations.
Great.
Thank you very much.
And all the suggestions and the document. This is another version.
Yeah. So if you can present it, because we want to release. Dr. Cameron is going to North Wales. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can you please, Dr. come to...
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Abdullah, if I may. Dr. Abdullah is indulging me. When we were discussing this conference today, I said, Dr. Abdullah, I can be with you and I'll be with you all day, but I'm afraid I have to go at 3:30 because I have a very important commitment back in North Wales. My youngest son is 16 today, and not only is he 16, but he has taken his first GCSE examination. So I have promised him faithfully I will be home for his birthday tea, and that is what necessitates my departure. And if all of a sudden you find you're missing the Christian voice, there are plenty of people in who will speak more brilliantly than I and answer for our faith.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. If I may say in Welsh, diolch o galon. Thank you from the heart for organising today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I have to keep this promise. It's a big occasion. So I think Ibrahim got a question from the live streaming.
That's right, yes. Use a microphone, Brian.
Can you please come? Yes.
Use this microphone.
Me again. Well, unfortunately, I can't say from where since it hasn't showed up. But interestingly, this question is from a teenager, a youth, and which is obviously quite important, and it's to the whole panel. I promise that wasn't me. The question is, what would be the next step for us to spread this message? What do you think we can do as teenagers and people living in this community to spread this lovely message?
Very good.
Well, I think we should have had, if it was not exam days or a school day, we would welcome young people, teenagers, to be part of it and to be speakers and give their point of view. That would be the next step for me, to organize an event where we have young people, not on a school day, not on an exam day, to come and give their views.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes.
I with Mr. Gregory, Dr. Gregory, is it? who's just left. I joined him with a couple of sixth form conferences with him, and I've done a couple since then as well. And I think going into schools, that maybe we should approach the sacres a little
Yes.
more and encourage that religious people, maybe not even leaders, just people who practice a religion, are invited into schools just to talk about what it means to them on a very personal level. And my experience when I've gone into schools is that you get some fantastic questions because they're completely unguarded. They have no concept of, this is a question I can't ask this person. They're incredibly direct and they really put you on the spot. And that is very inspiring to try and answer these questions.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a good thing to do.
Nita would like to come because she's sitting as the head of one of these cycles.
Yeah.
Not the head, just a volunteer on a Saturday.
Okay.
I think you must know Shay's there.
Of course I know.
Yes.
Shazer, when she comes, that's why I said, you didn't bring your drum today, because when we have a school religious conference, a school religious day, which in Mombachar and in Gwent we have every 2 years, and all the faith representatives come with the artifacts, the presentations, and it's a great gathering. First of all, we all meet and give out the message. We're giving out a topic from the advisor, and then what we're asked to do is to present the topic and then do a role play and a workshop, and then answer the questions. Mind you, the teachers have, on some occasions, have already prepared the sixth formers or the final year with their questions. So one has to be prepared. You cannot do a quick answer, because the young people would catch hold of you and want the right response. You have to be prepared. I am more nervous when I go into a Saturday school conference than when I come to any other. And I think quite a lot of us know what we are doing. So it will be a very good step to take it, not biannually, but every year, to the schools. And do schools do like faith representatives to come?
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Can I please invite Dr. William?
Yeah.
Dr. William Mortimer, in fact, is accompanied with a group from the Atlantic College. And I am very proud that we have him together with this wonderful group that is now exposed to this wonderful presentation, let me say, from all the others. And actually, even one of our managers approached him and said, actually, we know that the history of this place, and that is our reference, that it is established upon peace, and for the purpose of peace and like unity and warmth within all human beings. So from within the college, I welcome Dr. William to talk. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm not quite a doctor, but I accept the promotion. Thank you very much. Yeah, well, I'll take it from you. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's a great honour. Well, I wasn't prepared to speak today, but I have made a little something. We are running out of a bit of time, so I'll keep it under an hour. So Magdi has asked me just to share a little bit about myself and where we've come from. So I'm teacher of world religions at a school called United World College of the Atlantic. You may have heard of it. United World Colleges is an international network of colleges all across the globe. There's 17. And the first one, the original United World College, was founded here in South Wales in St Donets near Llantwit Major, 1962. And actually the World Religions International Baccalaureate course was founded there. So the college has a rich history of teaching world religions. We've also been involved in many interfaith conferences throughout the years. There's been a bit of a hiatus, but I'm pleased to say it was resurrected, or perhaps reincarnated this year. And it was a great success. United World Colleges, just those first two words, United World, tells you something a little bit about the ethos of the colleges, the ethos of the movement. It's about a united world, and it's a great privilege to work there. It's a great privilege to teach there. And we really are a united world college. We have students from all over the world. Many different nationalities are represented, many different languages are spoken, and of course, many different faiths are adhered to. One of the values that we have as United World College is intercultural understanding. My personal firm belief is that it's impossible to understand other cultures without an understanding of the faiths that have shaped and formed those cultures as well. So I love conferences like this. This is exactly my cup of tea. So it's a real honour to be invited to come as guests. I'm here, and we've got about 7 students as well at the back there, and we've had a really good day. And I'd just like to extend my thanks to all of the panellists and to the organiser of the conference, the Onyx Foundation. So thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Prof?
Yes.
What is next?
What is next?
Shall we?
Is the declaration signing?
Yes. I think now we are left with the declaration signing by the...
Doctor, if you give me 1 minute about the youth and how can we spread the message to the youth. Just 1 minute.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
It is very, very important to spread this message to the youth. Why? Because the youth are the future.
Sure.
Yeah? And we will not teach them as academic thing. We will not give them a book or give them studying as academic. But I think we can give them the message indirect. If we can, for example, arrange an event like sport, like football, rugby, and we can invite youth from different faiths or different background, so they can involve each other. However, they have different thoughts or different faiths, but at the same time, in the end, they are all human. So in the end of the game or match, they hug each other, they shake hands, the mutual understanding. So this is just, I want to add this point regarding with the youth especially. And they like this kind of activities. You can attract them.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, I think we need to sign the declaration now, maybe.
Yes, in fact, now it is the signing of the declaration by our panelists. Mr. Mahdi, if you could please pass it to... Now, Rabbi Michael Rose is signing on behalf of the Jewish community in Cardiff. Thank you very much, Rabbi.
Can't be worse than mine, don't worry.
Exactly. And now for
here I am.
Priestess
Thank you.
Gemma Jane Thompson, signing for Deacon Faith. And now Nakma Nurdin is signing for the Buddhist community. Careful, Nurdin.
Thanks. Okay. I can see, yeah. Yes. Thank you very much. Yes.
Last time I did this, I got married.
Don't worry, you're not married.
I got married.
Oh, that's also marriage, actually. Thank you very much, Viv. Vivian, for the Baha'i community. Thank you, Viv. And now Sheikh Muhammad from South Wales Islamic Center, signing on behalf of the Muslim community. Thank you very much, Sheikh Muhammad. And now Councillor Nita is signing. Thank you very much. And I think I'm going to sign it even though I am not standing for any faith, but I believe in all of you.
It's done.
Thank you very much.
It's a great day, yes.
And I think now the presentation of the gifts, we would like actually to leave these gifts with our honorable panel who contributed, in fact, who made this conference. We are just organizers. We are the Onyx Link. So we link people like you, jewels, to a large set so that we will have a wonderful and adorable necklace or jewelry that will live there as long as time. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, shall we arrange for that? We will. Yeah. Shall we invite first our quality and research director, Sheikh Niyal Abdul Qadir Abu Groon, to the stage so as to present formally and also okay. I think right Reverend got it. Now shall invite, in fact, Rabbi Michael Rose, United Synagogue of Cardiff. Thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you, Rabbi Rose. Thank you very much indeed. I think I'm going to go according to the row, not to my list. Shall I invite now Priestess Gemma Jane Thompson from the Pagan Earth religion. Thank you very much for your contribution. I see you.
Did you see it? Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Thank you very much indeed. And shall I now invite Nagma Nurdin Bamu from the Buddhist for their contribution.
Beautiful singing.
Yes. You got one fan here. Thank you very much. You deserve.
Your clarity.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. Shall I now invite Mr. Vivian for their contribution from the Baha'i Faith to our conference. Thank you very much, Mr. B. That is wonderful. Thank you very much. And may I now invite Sheikh Muhammad Tulba from South Wales Islamic Center for their contribution to the conference. Thank you very much, Sheikh. Shall I now invite Councillor Nita Bashir? Come. Yes. You have contributed quite a lot today. You deserve it.
Thank you.
You deserve to.
Thank you very much, Nita. Wonderful. Thank you very much indeed. May I now invite shall I say Mr. William? I'm going to say doctor again.
To be.
Thank you very much for this is for the Atlantic College for their participation here with their presence, because the idea is that we need this message to be carried by wonderful future intellectuals who are sitting here, not only like elder people like us. I'm sorry, I'm old. Yes. So thank you very much for coming, and yes. Shall I now invite Alid Edwards, who was the chair of the Interfaith Council of Wales and contributed, in fact, to the birth of this gathering. Thank you very much, Alid, and all. And now it is time for our partner, the community house in Newport. Shall I invite Ingrid Wilson to come? Ingrid, you are the hero. This is our sheikh. He will introduce.
Can I just say, Community House has been mentioned a couple of times this afternoon. It is a part of the Presbyterian Church of Wales, and the traditional church building had to be knocked down in the 60s because the foundations were not secure. And our visionary minister at that time led the congregation to rebuild the building as a community centre. Reverend Cyril Summers built it. The idea was for it to serve the community. Little did he know that in the 60s, the first Pakistanis and then Bangladeshis and people from all the faiths of the world came to live in the area. And Marilyn, who has been part of the background of this, but she had to go back today because her interfaith group that she runs at Community House happens on Thursday afternoons, and they have just won an All Wales Award for using the arts in the voluntary sector for their community building work.
Now, shall we also Marilyn, because of her effort, together with Ingrid, we were able to do all of this. Thank you very much indeed. This is just to say thank you.
I know the minister she's talking about is a friend of ours as well. His wife, the pastor, Reverend Cyril Summers.
Is that? Okay, thank you very much indeed. In fact, I think that is it for the day. And
annoying each other thing.
yeah, there is our final tea and coffee break. It is what we call getting to know one another or getting to see one another. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you.
مبروك 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 يا برو مبروك مبروك مبروك